If you can hear me, thumbs up. If you're not able to speak, please type for us. How has your journey been so far? We are being present today. And if you're facing resistance, go back to your 5-year-old self and do not be afraid to speak and share your values. Okay, thank you for the thumbs up. Who would like to start us off? Thank you for the thumbs up. Let's either chat or unmute and let me know how has your journey been. Yes, Shepkony, I see you've unmuted. Oh, you didn't want to speak. Okay, you can type on the chat. Elsie Opar, good morning. We haven't heard your voice this week.
Good morning.
How are you? How is the challenge so far?
The challenge is very good, very insightful. I'm getting to reflect a lot and I'm learning.
What's the one thing you picked from yesterday or Monday?
I'm learning to be authentic. Yeah, there's a lot,
Okay.
but mostly on authenticity and really connecting to who I am meant to be and not what society taught me to become.
Wow, we pray that you continue reflecting even as you enjoy the session today. Most welcome, Elsie, and thank you. Betty, you have unmuted. The floor is yours. Betty B.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Happy and blessed. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I think I didn't have to speak, but let me just say good morning as we continue. Thank you.
How is your takeout for yesterday and the day before, Betty, before you run away?
Okay, yesterday was lovely. Yeah, we started the week on a high end, and I truly made my day. Every morning we start this morning resets. It gives me a great day ahead. It puts me on my new, so I just love it. And the story, generally, the real story of the prodigal son is just it gives me a new understanding about the verse or the chapter, everything. Thank you.
And thank
Hey,
you, Betty.
thank you. Great day, Gladys, and everybody.
Okay, I like that you are brave enough not to hide. Please type on the chat, the rest of us, if you're ready. I am returning. Thank you, Ruth. I'm returning, I'm relearning, and evaluating. My mask are reflecting on my personal journey so far. Thank you, Ruth. Yes, good morning, Esther 1. Yes, you have learned. Yes, I hear you. I hear you. This is the ticket back home. Let's all chat and confirm that we are ready. I'm waiting for 2 more people to chat. Confirm they are ready. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Any more people who would like to be on video today? Thank you. Ipalel, you're returning. You're ready. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to usher in our one and only coach, the heart doctor, and the one sharpening our souls for the future. Most welcome, Dr. Job Mogire, for this third day session.
Thank you so much, Gladys. Thank you so much for you make a big you make returning feel safer, feel like home. So thank you. And good morning, everyone. I know that many of you woke up with the intention of reclaiming your your innocence by fulfilling the commitment you made to yourself. If we do what you've done today in 2026, where you narrow down your commitments to maximum 3, everything else you will find a way to make it work. But we identify the 3 core commitments which are non-negotiable. It will anchor your 2026. At the end of the session yesterday, I asked you to commit if you will be here at a certain time. What you have proven to yourself is that you have the power to fulfill your need for certainty. And that's because it doesn't matter whether the Kenya Power had turned off electricity or not, you had committed. It doesn't matter whether your phone went off, you would have found a way. It doesn't matter whether you are tired or not. Once you committed, you followed through. And you did not follow through because of comparison, because of proving. There was something inside you that was geared to follow through. So that if you didn't follow through, you have left home with regards to that decision. Because the home decided that we'll be here at this time, but then we went to a far country where we did not show up for that small decision. And remember what we have said from the beginning of this challenge. Certainty and variety are the roots. And this morning, if you committed that you'll be here at a certain time and you showed up, you have already proven that when you are very clear and very specific, when you make the kind of commitment your 6-year-old self can make, it becomes very easy for you to follow through. But if you make it complex, if you're going to be here after 4 alarms, you're probably not going to show up. But if it's just, once it's a commitment, you actually sometimes, did any of you wake up before your alarm? Just share in the chat box or just show me a reaction. Did any of you here wake up and before the alarm rang? Right? I see Debbie, I see Mercy. That is the power of commitment. That is inbred. It's wiring that is already ready to go. The reason why 2-year-olds become some of the most frustrated children, that is the most frustrating age for the child and the parent, is because the 2-year-old is trying to maintain that certainty that if they want something, they will get it. They want to maintain the certainty that they can control their environment. And unfortunately, when that training period is not handled well, it silences that need. This is what we are returning to the power of your certainty, so that in some 2 or 3 specific areas, you have total control. You had total control to show up here at the time you committed. Total control. Nothing was going to hold you back. Now, if we can apply that integrity, that ability to assert your certainty with that accuracy, with that exactitudeness, and reproduce it also on variety. In terms of, I will wake up tomorrow and I will make a cup of coffee. The following day, I'll make a cup of tea. The following day, I'll just have a cup of water. I'll sit and meditate. Certainty, variety comes to spice up certainty. If we can do that in 3 areas this coming year, it's going to change everything. We spent yesterday considering this question. Who am I? Those 3 words, who am I? Without, you can replace achievements and put there everything else. Who am I? Who am I? Because the journey of return is going back to who was I before the chase began? Who am I without the achievement? Because the second part of that first part of the question is the reason why I left home, you left home, we left home. Who am I without X? The question is, The other way to discover who I am inside is, who was I before X? Who was I before X? It is the same question. And here, to me, is the most powerful lens for looking at this question with fresh eyes. This is the lens whose voice am I. And anytime you see the word, that word am and I together, it is your identity. In other words, whose voice am I using my core identity to satisfy? And if I'm using my voice to satisfy a certain, I'm using my core identity to satisfy a certain voice, it cannot be the core identity. I have to create a mask. If I'm trying to satisfy the voice of my teacher in nursery school or class 1, class 2, class 3, somewhere in primary school, by becoming the obedient girl, the quiet boy, the intelligent boy, I have, and if that is not my natural inclination, if I am wired in such a way that if anybody in that school is going to be on the list of noisemakers, and I carry myself in a way, and I have to carry myself in a way that that is no longer true, then I have to sacrifice a part of my identity. I have to silence a part of my identity. The question is, what part of me did I have to silence to do so? Did you silence your creativity to become the top student or the reliable student or the most agreeable student or the most quiet? Did you sacrifice your spontaneity? Did you sacrifice your courage to speak your mind? Did you silence your desire to just be peaceful and quiet? Are you wired to be an introvert and you had to start adopting some extroverted attributes, which means you're silencing your introverted tendency to fulfill certain expectations, certain desires? What part of you might you have had to silence to be who you are today? We read this passage, we've been reading this passage. This is the second week. We've been reading this passage the second week with you. I can't tell you how long I've been reading this passage. This is probably one of what I call the masterpiece stories anywhere that you'll find anywhere. It's a series of 3 stories. There are 2 other stories. There is story of the lost coin, story of the lost sheep, and then there is this one. I call them it's like the perfect trilogy. Like the 3 stories, the way they follow each other, but particularly this one. When he came to his senses, he said, How many of my father's hired servants have food to spare? And here I am starving to death. That last part of the sentence, I want you to try and see if you can see that fragment with new eyes. We know who he is, a son of a very rich man, of a very wealthy Judean era man. And we know that the father is wealthy because the father had servants. And servants are not just like maids. You can be poor and you have maids. That is different. He had servants. I want you to see if you can receive that fragment of that statement with new eyes. Here, in other words, environment here. But from the word here, he moves to identity. Here, I am. Here, I am. Here, I am. That is the core me is in there. But I'm so removed from that core that I am but starving. are not just starving to death. Because remember where this story starts from. He said to his father, "Give me my share of the estate," which was essentially telling his father, "I want to live as though you are dead. In other words, I want total separation between me and you. I want to go on my own." Wherever he went, everything that happened, it leads him to the pig pen. In the pig pen, he comes to himself. This is what he says. This is when he realizes. This was the declaration of how bad things had gotten, how much of a separation had happened. Here, wherever your here is, here, that is facing externally, but then immediately that statement turns inward. I am. I am. It's like he's trying to reach inside and touch the core identity, but he can't touch the core identity because he's distracted by the label that he carries right now. I am starving. He's not just ordinary starving to death. Here, I am starving. And then he did what you did last night. And this is the only reason why this story turns around. He takes that I. Once you say I am, you're connecting with the inner core, right? But the I is the operative. In this case, now he says, I need to connect with am, but I can't do it where I am right now. Here. I can't do it here. The I needs to connect with am. I need to go back and connect with am. He says, I will set out and go back to my father. But then he adds something else and say to him now, he creates a story, he creates a justification. It starts creating evidence that he will present that hopefully he can be accepted back. But I want you to see and receive that statement. It's how might it apply to your life today? And one of the easiest lenses to use is, what are your predominant emotions? If we were to summarize 2025 to 3 emotions, just 3, which are your predominant emotions? Here is a very easy exercise. I want you to just pay attention to your body, your whole self right now. Just pay attention and try to perceive yourself right now. Give yourself up to 10 seconds. And at the end of those 10 seconds, I want you to write one word of what is the most dominant emotion you feel right now. Just pay attention to your body. Just feel your body from head to neck, to your face, to your shoulders, to the back, to your chest. And when you start paying attention, the body has a sense of feeling like it's expanding. You feel like your body is actually almost vibrating and almost like expanding, but just pay attention to it. Pay attention to your belly button, your waist, your hips, your thighs, all the way to your knees, your shins and your ankle joint, and all the way to the tips of your toes and the sole of your feet. Because the environment is hitting you right now. The air around you is hitting you. Some parts of your body are feeling a bit warm. Some parts are cold. Just don't think. Just write down one emotion word. And it's going to reveal 2 things to you. Reveal 2 things to you. It's going to reveal 2 things to you. One, how for granted we take the body most of the time, right? But also that expressing where you are in terms of here, you're here. He's here, you're here. Expressing in terms of what you feel sometimes is not the easiest thing that comes the most naturally. And that is the power of return. We want to return to the point where When someone is coming to present an idea to you, if you feel like this idea is interesting and you realize that you are restless, you realize that this is not the best time to make a decision about this. If you realize that you are excited and you're supposed to make a decision that requires you to think deeply, you are about to hook yourself onto something that you will try to get out of later because you are not aware and you are not truthful to what you feel, what you actually are feeling at that moment. I don't know. I would love for you to receive that fragment of this sentence. Here. What is your here? Here I am. Here I am. Is it here I am stressed? Is it here I am distracted? Is it here I am complaining? Is it here I am dissatisfied? Is it here I am grateful? And there is the gratitude we feel in the mind, but there is the gratitude you can feel when you are seated there and it spreads everywhere. Is it here I am hopeful, expectant? Is it here I am certain? Is it here I am joyful? Where is your here? My father's servants have food to spare, right? And the food here in this case doesn't have to be food. Maybe they have warmth there. They're not surrounded by pigs. They have clean air. They have clean water. They are having conversations. They are able to clean up and they feel like they're doing something meaningful. And here, whatever your here is, here, I am starving. I am tired. I am burnt out. I am. What is your here? The journey to begin to hear and to really perceive my here really, really, really well is to remember that most of the time you don't see your here. You don't see your here with clear eyes. You do not see your here with clear eyes. You see your here through voices. And it's voices, the voices that caused you to silence a part of you. Those are the voices. That is the goal of return. Reduce this volume. Figure out where this volume is coming from. And the more we are clear about the cost of these voices, the greater the commitment we will make, so that you narrow down to just a few commitments. What are these 3 commitments which next year can take those voices from volume 90 to volume 30? So that your here stops being about what those voices require you to do. Because if you go back to that passage, and here I am starving to death, this is the first time he accounts for the cost of all those voices. This is the first time he tells the truth about how far he had deviated. And here I am starving to death. This is something that he could have said way, way, way earlier. He could have said, and here I am speaking disrespectfully to my father. And here I am leaving my father's house. And here I am squandering the money that I got from my father. And here I am selling myself out to a citizen of a far country. And here I am feeding pigs. And here I am desiring to fill my belly with the pods that the pigs eat. And here I am, nobody giving me anything. He goes through all of those things when, remember, look at verse number 16. He longed to fill his stomach with pods, the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything. In other words, all those voices, it came to a point when he's not receiving anything. That statement is very metaphorical, and I find it profound. Nobody gave him anything. I want to get to the day when nobody's giving me anything. Don't give me money, but also don't give me your opinion. Don't give me your expectation. Don't ask me to silence my true needs. Don't ask me to shrink. Don't give me anything. Let us exchange. I give you support. You give me companionship. Let us exchange. Let's come together as two I ams. I come with my I am. You come with your I am. Right? It is after that statement, but no one gave him anything. But no one gave him anything. That the linking point is what leads him. After no one gave him anything, then he came to his senses. What if the journey of return for you and I, is something that is going to happen? We don't know when, but the day we have reduced these external voices, then we'll eventually, when nobody is giving you anything in terms of those voices, the voices that are the reason why you silence parts of you. You silence your desires, you silence your truth, you silence your opinions. And here, I am starving. The I am never changes. The desire that is stirred in him in that moment is to carry the I am to a place of connection. Take it from transaction to back to relationship. In other words, reduce that distance. The I am is in a far country when he says this. His journey is to take that I am back to where he comes from, to where he belongs. When you think about this question, whose voice am I trying to satisfy? Do any voices automatically come to mind? Here is a suggestion. What statements in your life are very easy to attach to the word should? I want you to give yourself a short experiment. Write down I should, and then write 3 things that are true, not because you are judging yourself, but because you actually want to see. I should. You want to see whose voice might be hidden, and this is the work that we will do together. Whose voice might be hidden in there? Whose voice that you're subconsciously trying to satisfy? And this is not something that you chose to start doing. It's not something that I chose to start doing. You should, I should, because the should comes with conditions. And one of the conditions is that whatever is authentic to you that does not fit in the pursuit of fulfilling the should needs to be silenced. I should. Could you share in the chat box if any shoulds have come up for you? Just, you're not sharing the should. I just want you to say yes, or maybe it's 1 or 2, or just give me some kind of indication whether this is resonating for you and with you. And I'm watching the chat box to see what comes. Thank you for those responses. Thank you for those responses. I hadn't seen when you shared, some of you shared your, like what you feel and what the emotions. Thank you for those responses. The goal here is for us, for all of us to see that we are not different. We are all in the journey of returning. We are all in the journey of returning. Whose voice am I trying to satisfy? In other words, whose voice have I been trying to satisfy all along? And even when I am trying to satisfy my own voice, sometimes it is not the affirming voice I'm trying to satisfy. Sometimes it's the critical voice, which many times it is an accumulation of external voices. When I started doing a medical residency in Wichita, Kansas, and part of that program, you have an outpatient clinic that you go to. Out of every 5 weeks, you spend a whole week there. And I accumulated a significant number of patients. Then I realized I was receiving a lot of compliments from patients. It's weird that when I did public speaking, if I went to Toastmasters or competed in a speech contest and I won, I would feel like, yes, that's what I wanted. That's why I competed. But here I am just doing my daily thing. And every time that I received those compliments, sometimes they felt out of place. And they felt out of place because I realized that in this particular aspect of my life in academics, number one, this is the one thing that I used as a weapon to get out of the village. Number two, if there is an area that I felt compared and judged, and where the judgment is actually a measurement, it's, you know, there is the judgment that doesn't have a label, but this one is a measurement. It was in academia, such that throughout my academic journey, I felt like I have to measure to a certain level on a consistent basis. And unlike in Kenya, where, you know, patients would thank me and I know I can tell that I've done something valuable for them, here I spend more time in front of the computer than I spent in front of the patients. And such that if somebody complimented my notes, how well they are structured, how detailed they are, then I would be like, yeah, I know I spent time there. But if they are complimenting me for listening to them, and yet I was seated there wondering, will they be able to, will they be understanding this my Kisii accent? I'm seated there judging myself. I'm seated there being hard on myself, but they're listening to me. You did not hear that from me. That was not me who spoke. I used to have a very, very, very strong Kisii accent. Most of it reduced when I was in medical school. But here I am judging myself. It took me almost a year before it became normal for me to actually receive that feedback and accept it, and for it to feel normal. And I came to realize that particularly two of my teachers from primary school, forget about all the others, two of those teachers, some of how I spoke to myself is voices, a version of the voices that are integrated from them. One of my teachers, she is amazing. She was a friend until she passed on. She was amazing. But the one thing when I think about her that I hear is, you can do better. Because she knew I have the capacity. And she always reminded me I can do better. Except that became the only thing that registered really emotionally deeply. It wasn't, oh, this is 8, this is 75%, this is amazing, you did well. Next time, continue improving. It is, you can do better. I remember a particular exam when I was in class 5. I think it was a mathematics exam, but because she was teaching 3 subjects to us. I had an 88%. She's giving out papers. I have an 88%. She gives it to me and she's like, look at these mistakes. That's all she said. Look at these mistakes. And then moves on to the next kid and continues giving out those sheets. Right? And those voices became part of my journey, where I would be typing notes. When I'm reading through the notes, I do not realize that I have really assessed this hypertension, this coronary artery disease. I really have a good plan. It will be, or this full stop was out of place. Or why did I use a capital here? Why did I write LASIX with a small l? Those will be the things that I'm looking for, because I was conditioned to look for those mistakes. So that my here, it doesn't matter where my here is. And that's what I wanted you to get from this verse. It doesn't matter what my here is. Here I am starving. I can be starving in Kirongorori Secondary School, or in Kebabe Primary School, or in Moi University, or at AAR Nairobi where I worked, or at Nairobi Hospital, or in Wichita, Kansas, or in Illinois. My here can be anywhere, because I am starving is not something that I realized I was doing until I realized. And that's what happened to him. But no one gave him anything. And because of coming to that rock bottom, coming to that point of what we call a point of no returning to the old, he needs to return anew to where he began from. That's when he said, here I am. I still have the core me, but I'm starving. Can you imagine it? Just picture it. This is a Kenyan doctor who has gone on, done those exams, and entered one of the biggest health training systems in the world, and there he is. But he's here in that health system, still contaminated by voices that were spoken when he was barefoot in Kebabe Primary School. Maybe your story is different. Maybe yours is different. But for me, here I am. I have a beautiful name tag on. We used to have really amazing lab coats with University of Kansas here in blue. And there is a big name, Dr. Job Mogire, internal medicine. But at the same time, there is the internal voices from Kebabe Primary School, where I was at that time. So that my here, it's the I am doesn't change. Here, I am, but starving. But I would like to see what do you get from that? That line is all that. Day 3 is all wrapped up in that line. In fact, last week we were not able to unpack it to that extent. That day 3 is all, because day 2 is getting to the bottom, getting to the rock bottom, and then day 3 is actually now heading back. You're here. Here I am, starving. Here I am. Dash, and the dash is what the truth is for you here. I would like to see just go to the chat box. What is your core takeaway? The power of committing, but committing in a way that is disentangled from the voices that you're subconsciously trying to satisfy. Because once that disentangling starts happening, then this volume of external voices can go down, and I can begin to discover which parts of me are still alive but are silenced, because I had to silence them in pursuit of trying to satisfy external voices. Do I have a volunteer that would like to share directly before we finish this session? Let me find all your names together. If you are able to be on video, just turn on your video. If not, you can still speak in audio. I'm going to call 3 names. If any of you is able to unmute, please do. If you are not able to unmute, just make sure that it's the fact that you are not able, or it's a voice that is telling you not to unmute. I'm sorry. Just make sure it's not a voice that is telling you not to unmute. If you speak, you're going to stumble. If you speak, you're going to sound unsure. If you speak before you think about it, you're going to mess up. I'm going to call 3 names, and Rosie, I'm going to call Rosie, Masingaine, Lillian, and Jacqueline, and Florence. Those are 5. Any of you able to unmute? Please unmute and let's talk. Arnold, I see your video is on. Are you able to?
Yes, Doc.
Hey, Arnold. Yeah. So let's just hear from you. What's your reflection from this segment that we just did?
It's very deep and profound when you actually start to ask yourself in regards to which voices are you listening to? Because in reality, I'm starting to get to the point where my upbringing, and this is related to how I saw my parents serve others, and that resonated that even though they suffered for the other people to actually benefit, but I took it with me because I remember my father is the firstborn, and him being the firstborn, he had actually to school the other siblings, which meant as a family, we were denied some things as kids that we thought it was core for us to sleep well, to eat good meals, but because my dad had to help the others, we had to suffer. And through now me having a family, I've realized that it has impacted me that as much as I want to do X, but if someone comes to me,
Yeah.
I end up switching off me to satisfy them. And then after some time, you realize I'm now going through difficulties because I helped someone, but I forgot me. So this year has been a year for me to be selfish for me, not to do bad, but first to sort me out. And it's very profound when now I'm in this training and it is helping me find me. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a son. And I was only actually telling my wife yesterday that, who are you? And she was confused. Like, who are you without me? Who,
Yeah.
who are you without our boys?
Yeah.
Who are you? And when I asked her if you were
Yeah.
to talk to your 5-year-old, she just kept like, she just didn't know how to. And I told her, this is what I'm finding out. And I shared the videos for
Yeah.
day 1 and for day 2, and I hope she will also find herself. So for me is going back to be selfish so that you can actually do you and listen to
Yeah.
the voice that it's meant to control you. And this is very vulnerable when you now have to say, I am nothing without me being the 5-year-old, because the 5-year-old, there's no fear. You have the curiosity to actually do you. Yeah, so I believe switching off the voices so that it can help you listen to who you are. And hopefully, this will be now the 2026 year of being the real you and being the real me in whatever I do. Thank you, Doc.
I would love, please, can I see hearts and claps and reactions for Arnold? Thank you so much, Arnold. Oh my goodness.
And before I go,
Yeah.
I know you, you know me, but we've never touched base. It is very, uh, God works in ways that one of my clients who is here,
Yeah.
she's the one who told me, join this.
Wow.
And we are friends on LinkedIn. And I remember the first time I chatted you,
Yeah.
and then you gave me something to say, yes, I told you what I do.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
projected me. And then
Yeah.
you told me, whenever you are chatting on or with someone that you don't know, it's not
Yeah.
about you. It has to start from them so that it can now allow them to actually even give you space. And that's
Yeah.
the principle I've always used. So thank
Wow.
you. Now we are home, and I'm glad to be part of this journey.
Wow. Thank you, Arnold. I am so delighted. Thank you for joining and thank you for that beautiful reflection. Oh my goodness. If you got just half of the fathers in Kenya to think that way and to live that way, the country will change. The country will change because where will the politician have even the room to come and bribe you? Because when he's bribing you, he's saying you are poor. In other words, you have to accept that I am poor. Then take that bribe, or I am can be bought. Thank you so much. That's just so beautiful, and I hope everyone resonated and everyone picked something from that real reflection. And I'm going to see if we have anyone else who is volunteering before I hand over to Gladys.
Hi, Doc.
Hi, Mercy. Please go ahead.
Hi, it's great to be here. Good to see you and to be part of this community. So for me, it slapped harder when you asked, what voice did I silence to become what I am today? Just like Arnold shared, you find that now on the flip side, being the last born, you silence your voices, or somehow you're forced to silence your voices as the younger sibling, so that now you're listening to your older siblings' voices who become now your younger parents.
Yes.
So I had a conversation with my colleague the other day. He was asking me, what is it that I can remember that happened in my life, in my teenage, in my 20 years old, and all. So it was quite a reflection that you find younger siblings live their elder siblings' lives. Then later on, they realize, oh, I didn't do this for me, I didn't do this for me. But fast forward, I'm happy because the other day, my elder sibling said that despite us being like 8 of us in the family, there is no one who has a vocal voice like yourself. And I was like, wait a minute. So the other one sibling translates it like you, the mind that you share, it
Mm.
is so hard that even the parents feel that you're giving hard decisions. And I realized, oh, so I occupied my space. So we need to come to realization that you need to make your decisions as you. It doesn't matter at what position you are at home, at work. You need to be you first so that you're able to live. But if you're not yourself, you won't be able to live. You won't be even functional as you're intended to. And just to close it is to really congratulate Arnold for me having gone through the 90 days momentum challenge this year. I chose in January to be selfish for me, and it's really working. And it's being selfish in a good way. So it's really working, and I really appreciate being here. And I'm looking forward even to engage more. Thank you.
Wow. Oh my goodness. This is just, oh, I wouldn't have asked for a better way for us to wrap up this session. Thank you, Marcy. What you've just said there at the very end, all of us, we are wired automatically to contribute. We are wired to give. Make sure you're not giving your seed, you're giving your fruit. Because if you give your seed, you will have nothing to grow. In the process of trying to satisfy other voices and silencing ourselves, we are literally, if we are an avocado tree and we want to become a gum tree, we are literally suppressing the fruits so that we can only have leaves just like the gum tree, right? So literally trying to suppress so that when we germinate, we become significant, we love and connect, we grow and we contribute. We start contributing as though we are a gum tree or a mugumo tree when you are an avocado tree. Suppressing the most essential core parts of you. Please sit with this question. Whose voice am I trying to satisfy? I will not send another assignment today. I will only send you the link from yesterday's session and today's session. Sit with that question. Whose voice am I trying to satisfy? And what part of me did I have to silence? Sit with that question today, and I look forward to see you tomorrow. In the meantime, could you continue sharing your reflections, and I will now hand over back to Gladys Consistent Muhunyo. Back to you, Gladys.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Doc, for challenging us to hear our voices, helping us to reflect on why we do the things we do, who we are, and where we are, our here. I want to just speak on any other person who had been picked by Doc and wasn't able to speak. At the count of 3, 2,
Maybe I
Florence,
can go.
yes. Welcome,
Good
Florence.
morning. And how are you, Doc?
I am
Good
doing
to
very
see
well.
you.
Who is that? Who is speaking? Oh,
This
Florence.
Florence.
Yes, Florence K. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Thanks a lot for that insightful session. It has been a bit unsettling for some of us, and it has taken me way, way back to my childhood. I'm a middle child,
Okay.
and growing up, I would tend to be forgotten because there are other older children and there are other younger children. And that brought in a spirit of aggression, of like reminding people, I'm still here. And it's a spirit I have carried along with me up until sometime last year. And I can say the breakthrough challenge, the transformation have really started some very significant work within me. And sometime beginning of this year, I made some radical decisions because I realized through this spirit of aggression and wanting to be heard and remain relevant, I had ended up taking a bulk of work, and especially in the family.
Yeah.
And I realized I am being drained. And I made up my mind now I will start doing me, and I will stop being the first one to get out of the plate all the time.
Yeah.
And that's work I've been doing beginning of this year, but it has not augured well with quite a number of people
Yes.
because they had always perceived me as the pusher, always perceived me as the one who makes the decisions, who does what needs to be done, the one who fixes things. But right now, I decided to take a step back and only do that which I have purposed to do, not what is being pushed and shoved to me.
Yeah.
But it has come with some level of enmity, animosity, but I have stuck there and said this year going forward, it is about doing me unapologetically. And that's the space I am in right now. And now you've come like to put the icing, and I can only continue. So this has, for me, it has resonated with me so much. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Ah,
much for that share. Back to Gladys. Thank you, Florence.
our voices are what we have to speak up and even show ourselves. It's been a beautiful journey. I can't believe we only have 2 days to go. So please register for Return 90. The form is there on the link. Have time to share with each other. At this particular point in time, is there anyone with a burning question? A burning question? Any burning question of any of the things that we have been posting? Any burning question to Doc? I should have been clear to who.
Yeah.
Maybe Doc, you can give us some comment on the Return 90.
Yes. Return 90, of everything that I've ever offered, if you could only be part of one, it will be Return 90. It's 90 days that will culminate in a physical meeting in Nairobi. It's only, and that word only is capitals, bold and underlined, only 45K. There would never be anything that I price like that. So take advantage, join now, and trust me, those 90 days, waking up at 5 consistently, doing daily reset, and every Saturday doing the full session, like this one, the full sessions will be similar to this, and then there will be the daily reset, which enhance, so that by the end of the year, you don't just have momentum, you've actually relocated. Your here has changed. Your I am doesn't change. Your here must change. That's what we want to do. So join before we close. After, I will not sign up anybody after Christmas. It will be before, and that's if there are still spots. And I can't wait to see you there. I will see you tomorrow on day 4. We just have 2 more days to finish this challenge this week.
There's a quick question on payment plan. Is there a payment plan for Return 90?
So the only payment plan I'm offering is if you're going to do installments, it's 3 installments of 15K a month, and you pay it at the beginning of each of the months, so that then we don't spend time trying to follow up. I don't have keys, yeah, like the caretaker ya kufunga nyumba.